How's it going, YouTube? And I know some of you guys out there are like, what the heck? Did I come to the wrong channel, or did GalacticGod get a lot blacker overnight or something like that? No, don't worry. I am not GalacticGod. Some of you guys may recognize me, and some of you guys may just recognize the voice, but can't necessarily put together, you know, like voice and face if you've never seen me before. My name is MegaCapitalG. For those of you guys who do not know, I do the same thing as GalacticGod over on my channel. That is, of course, YugiTubing, where I talk about Yu-Gi-Oh cards, the game as a whole, do, you know, discussions, reviews, in-depth stuff like that. I also throw anime into the mix. First off, big shout outs and thank you to GalacticGod, more like Galactic Gentleman and a Scholar, am I right? Okay, enough of that. Anyways, so guys, today we're getting right down to business, and we are going to talk about some amazing but underused decks. I'm always one of those, I'm the type of player who always likes to give, you know, the spotlight to decks that have a lot of potential, decks that can be really good, but decks like no one knows about, no one ever plays, they're not meta, because for the most part, I don't really play meta decks outside of Boojins. Let's just forget about that. Anyways, so without further ado, this is the top 5 amazing decks that no one's probably going to run this format, the Yugioh Hierarchy.
Number 5, Spirit Herald of Perfection. So Spirit Herald is one of those decks that can literally take away your opponent's ability to play Yu-Gi-Oh! I mean, we all know what Herald does, but when you combine that with Christia, basically 99% of decks just scoot because there's no way around it. Herald often had consistency problems, but when you add the Spirit Engine to the deck, okay, so now you can have easy +1s with Aratama, you can make easy rank 4s with Nikitama, and the fact that Nikitama can potentially let you draw when it's detached for an Xyz effect, I mean, that's pretty much bananas because it ensures that you never lose hand advantage that's needed to fuel Herald when you go for your big Xyz plays that give you the beaters that you need for your offense. And realistically, does any deck actually enjoy having to deal with a Herald of Perfection on the field turn 1? Number 4, Worms. So I've been talking a little bit about Worms over the last format or so, and I think that it's one of the decks that really does greatly benefit from going second and getting that extra card. Not only can Worms adequately run any hand trap to stop aggressive decks, but Worms have the ability to effectively come back from large established fields. You know, you can main deck things like Needle Sealing, Fossil Dyna, of course there's Ice Hand and Fire Hand that let you crash fields, but you also have to consider, since Worms haven't gotten their own theme Xyz yet, that does give you the ability to have a ton of space in the extra deck so that you can run a card that steals games ever so nicely. I'm talking about rank up the 7th one. And lastly, can I just say, W New Meteorite? I mean, really, need I say more? That card is just absolutely incredible. Number 3, Heretics. So I don't know if there's a deck in the entire game of Yu-Gi-Oh! That is better suited for going second. You give the deck an extra card, the ability to attack in its first turn, and your opponent has less defense. I mean, where the hell do I sign up? Heretics have never been bad, it's just people stop playing the deck for some reason. Its ability to go off and OTK your opponent has always been pretty frightening in my book, and with the ultimate back row hate card, and I'm talking about a giant wing beater dragon, not only can you cripple back row heavy decks, but you can completely dodge the artifact cards. I mean, you don't have any monster on the board for them to pop with Marotech, so he's just going to be out there on an island waiting to get destroyed. And you add in the complete cheapness that Dragon Rulers give to the deck. I'm talking extra derp, and I mean, you've got a pretty solid deck on your hands. Number 2, Fire Kings. So Fire Kings are looking like one of the best meta calls in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. First off, nearly every monster in the entire archetype will trigger when destroyed by one of the Hat deck's 101 ways to kill a monster. Secondly, the deck actually boasts its own destructive removal as well, and I'm not just talking about the obvious Garunix, but Fire Fist Bear, and then some versions actually run Fire Hand because that can be useful with Blaster or Circle of the Fire Kings. The deck also had Soul Charge before Soul Charge was Soul Charge and Rekindling, and then when you look at Blaster, Wolfbark, and Garunix, it's like you almost have too many ways of summoning stuff back from the graveyard. Lastly, I've even seen some people dumping Skill Drain into the deck to fight against, you know, decks that are completely reliant on their effects, and it's like, well, mostly everything in the Fire King archetype and then Blaster, they all activate in the graveyard. They can all kind of summon themselves back, so you don't necessarily need to use your effects on the field to win with Fire Kings. And finally, number 1, Monarchs. Talk about a deck that couldn't possibly care less about Shadow Midrash. I'm pretty sure that you don't want no problems with Riser or Caius. And have you freaking seen Monarch Stormforth? Basically, the deck is about to get a quick play version of Soul Exchange that doesn't target and still gives them their battle phase. Yeah, and people wonder why I'm about to drop Boojins. Monarchs are fantastic against Shadows. They're also going to be really good against a deck that's going to get incredibly popular soon, in my opinion. That being Evil Swarm, because, you know, Ophion just laughs at artifacts and Shadows and, you know, Quill Pops. And that's entirely because all Monarchs are normal summons, so it's not like Ophion can do a thing to stop them. Monarchs may not have gotten the complete overhaul that people might have expected them to get by now, but just one simple upgrade is sometimes all it takes for a deck to become really, really good. I will give you guys a warning on Monarchs though. You gotta watch out for people side decking Mask of Restrict. Consider yourself warned, because I think that you're going to be collateral damage of the Quillpuff army. So let me know what you guys think. If there were any decks that I missed, go ahead and leave that in the comments section below. Give a big thumbs up to GalacticGod for letting me upload on his channel. And if you like Yu-Gi-Oh content or anime content, be sure to check out my channel. My name is MegaCapitalG. Thank you guys for watching as always.
You know you're a Yu-Gi-Oh player when you can recite Toon Dark Magician Girl's text off the top of your head verbatim, but you can't tie a tie. Seriously.
Subscribing makes life happy.